I'm curious, do you guys think that sorcerers ever accidentally land a Black Flash while doing normal day-to-day stuff? Like, in some alternate universe, maybe Inamaki never lost his arm in Shibuya because he already lost it from getting Black Flash high-fived by Yuta. The best example of this, though, is actually very relevant to both the chapter and Yuji's insane ability to use Black Flash. Black Flash is achieved when the sorcerer is in a state of deep concentration and truly enters the zone. So what if Yuji can use Black Flash so easily because Kenjaku was taking consecutive Black Flash backshots? Hello everybody and welcome to my chapter 256 review, and it's very real this time, I promise, no trolling here. Just before we jump into the chapter though, please do drop me a follow on Twitter, link below. Also don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Right, now that all the important stuff is out of the way, let's just jump straight into chapter 256 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Ladies and gentlemen, please try very hard not to get too overexcited by what I'm about to say, but the chapter starts with a whole 2 pages of Satoru Gojo yapping. Now this flashbacky interview thing explains a lot of cool stuff and basically just alludes to the fact that Yuji will land Black Flash at will. However, I have 2 very important questions about this section which I'll bring up in a moment. Gojo basically says that even with the 6 eyes he can't land a Black Flash at will. He also claims that the Black Flash definition of cursed energy and physical impact, both landing within 1/1,000,000th of a second of each other, is pure waffle. If that was the only factor, then Gojo said he would actually be able to do it at will too. He then explains exactly how a cursed energy strike actually works, which is so great to see because shit like this is never properly explained. Gojo basically explains that there are 3 types of striking cursed energy that he controls when throwing a punch. 1, the type that turns his fist from that of a skinny-ass man-child to that of the Hulk. 2, the cursed energy outputted is a separate and explosive impact. And finally 3, the type that does both of these things. And yes, this type was totally made up by Gojo so that he could keep showing off. Now type number 2 would be considered the output focus part. For example, Ryo Ishigori's strikes likely focus more on the second type due to his curse technique making his punches unusually explosive and powerful. This is also the cursed energy type that defines Divergent Fist and supposedly Black Flash. Since Divergent Fist is when the separate cursed energy impact is heavily delayed, and a factor of Black Flash is that the delay reduces to 1/1,000,000th of a second. Gojo then reveals that he has actually hit more total Black Flashes than even Nanami, meaning at least 5 Black Flashes have been hit before the Sukuna fight. And obviously Sukuna is the only scenario where Gojo could actually use consecutive Black Flashes, since everyone else in the verse would literally just get reduced to jelly as soon as they're hit by the first one. Now after reading all of this amazing information, I am left with 2 very important questions. A, who the f is doing these interviews? Please, I need to know. And B, who the f has Gojo been landing Black Flashes on? We know that at least 5 Black Flashes have been landed by Gojo in the last 12 years, which means that 5 grade 4 cursors got so unbelievably unlucky with the sorcerer that pulled up to exercise them. That is definitive proof that Black Flash is normally just very luck oriented, because there is no way Gojo faced anyone in that 12 years that he actually felt the need to use a Black Flash on. Following Gojo's yap session, we cut back to the present where Sukuna turns around in slow motion thinking he's all intimidating and scary. Sure enough though, Maki, Miguel, Yuji and Chozo all do find it very intimidating and scary. Maki, Yuji and Chozo stress about Sukuna's Black Flash replenishing his output, meanwhile Miguel simply wants to go home, and honestly I can't blame him. Chozo and Yuji then perfectly coordinate the most useless attack in Jujutsu Kaisen since Miwa in Shibuya. I love these guys together so much, but they have the combined IQ of a watermelon because they try and trap Sukuna with a piece of railing. This is some fire extinguisher level stuff, guys. Can we just appreciate how dumb this idea is? They were really thinking a single metal pole was going to hold the King of Curses in place. Chozo then goes for a point-blank piercing blood which Sukuna literally runs meters away from. I found it impressive that Kenjaku can consistently evade Chozo's speed of sound piercing blood from point-blank range, but what Sukuna is doing is not super fast reflexes. This guy literally ran meters away from a sound of speed. No, from a speed of sound. Wait, it was a fast. But what Sukuna is doing is not simply super fast reflexes. This guy literally ran meters away from an attack which is at least the speed of sound. Sukuna then does his best Gojo impression and lands his 3rd Black Flash against Maki, and I really like that it is against Maki because he still feels like he's got something to prove to her. Now that Black Flash definitely looked like it hurt, but Maki is still conscious, so Sukuna piles on a follow-up attack of higher output dismantles. Now Sukuna throwing these dismantles is actually a lot more important than you probably realize. It shows that Sukuna learns from his mistakes mistakes of underestimating his opponents. He thought that the first Black Flash would be enough to finish off Maki, and he was so wrong, hence why this time he followed up with a counterattack and did not underestimate her. It's also not the first time we see Sukuna do this, since he did apologize to Ryu Ishigori for underestimating his toughness after Ryu literally tanked 3 whole dismantles. Sukuna does not have the 6 eyes, so he can't always accurately gauge his opponent's strength. However, he never underestimates them once he has a good idea of how strong they are, except for Yuji. Time and time again, Sukuna has waved Yuji off both physically and mentally. Yet when he inevitably returns, Sukuna continues to underestimate him, which is his mistake. Yuji is Sukuna's most challenging rival simply because he is the only person capable of making Sukuna lose his composure. Mark my words, it will come back to bite him in the ass very, very soon. In fact, it looks like it already has. Moving on though, Chozo fires a supernova at Sukuna, who fires a dismantle bluff back at Chozo. Sukuna then moves so fast that he literally reaches Chozo before his own slashes do, and then slams him into a wall. Sukuna then lands Black Flash number 4 onto Chozo. Chozo cooks so hard though, as he reduces the damage by creating blood armor just like he did against Yuji and Shibuya. Chozo then steals Maki's signature psychopath smile, which wipes the grin off Sukuna's face, before Yuji slams him with a strike so powerful it could be mistaken for one of Gojo or Kusukabe's. Seeing Sukuna's face spurt with blood and be sent flying backwards was genuinely so satisfying to see, especially because it was Yuji who did it, and we know Sukuna just hates Yuji. My guy is a special grade hater. He will hate anything this guy does, even if it's just existing. Chozo then confirms that Yuji's soul strikes should help to mitigate the buff that Sukuna gets from landing Black Flashes. Now Miguel, who has still taken 0 damage by the way, tries to leave, but LaRue says that he wants to have one more shot at rizzing up Sukuna. Meanwhile, Sukuna slams Yuji to the ground, but Yuji prepares to fire a piercing blood right into Sukuna's crondolium. Apparently, Yuji can't use convergence on his own yet, so Chozo gave him some converge blood to help him before he passes out on the floor. At least that's what it looked like, and that's what Chozo alludes to, but we don't know for sure that that's exactly what happened. If that is what happened though, it's pretty damn cool because it means that they can actually control each other's blood instead of just their own. Anyway, Sukuna narrowly avoids the piercing blood, which was even point blanker range than earlier. Or more point blank, it was close, it was just closer to his face, okay? Sukuna then looks genuinely focused here as he senses that Yuji is charging up a soul-striking Black Flash of his own. However, Sukuna's focus was stolen by LaRue, whose Riz capabilities have exceeded even Hikari's. On a real note though, it is such a cool ass ability to be able to literally grab someone's attention, and the look in Sukuna's eyes is priceless. Yuji then lands a monstrous Black Flash which shattered the building in front of them. And yes, I do think Yuji's Black Flash was definitely deliberately drawn bigger than any of Sukuna's. And yes, I do hope that a Black Flash battle starts, since I wholeheartedly believe that Yuji would actually win that. To finish it all off though, we get a page suggesting a long anticipated thing is finally coming, unleashing his potential in a single blow. Beneath shattering sparks of black, Yuji Itadori awakens. Now this can mean so many different things. For example, Yuji might have achieved the ability to Black Flash at will. He also may have grasped the essence of his soul just as Mahito did in Shibuya after landing a Black Flash, and then will unleash a new technique because of it. Maybe it will be full body blood armor like Mahito's true form from Shibuya, or maybe he has realized his purpose and is ready to unleash the full power of the Shrine Curse technique before Sukuna gets the chance to do it himself. And personally, it's that last one which is my favorite, and I really hope that happens because it would be such a good way to finally reveal the Fuga technique. Of course, it could also be totally metaphorical and just be that Yuji has entered the zone. We don't know, it's Gege. All in all, it was an absolutely amazing chapter, especially for Chozo and Yuji, who showed up big time. Oh, and also LaRue, strangely. Yuji truly did beat the fraud main character allegations in this chapter, and he showed why he is the absolute GOAT of Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, behind Yuta and Kusukabe and Yuki and Kenjaku and maybe Maki. Actually, Miwa's a shout as well. Maybe Miguel as well, to be honest. Okay, he's like one of the GOATs. Oh, and let's also not forget that Gojo taught us more about the power of cursed energy, something that I have wanted so desperately for such a long time, because again, Gege doesn't explain that stuff too much. Overall, it was just an action and information-packed chapter, and the only downside is that there is a break next week. As I said in the beginning of the video, please do follow me over on Twitter, link in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later for the part 2 of the JJK character tier list stream.